is up, everybody, and welcome to Eagles Aftermath, the Eagles post-game show right here on DSM Media. We're live right here, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You know the drill. Smash that like button, smash that share button, and make sure you hit that subscribe over on YouTube, and make sure you head over to YouTube or Facebook to get your comments heard. Great win, and let's go Packers tonight. Eagles beat the Washington football team 20-16. Much closer game than I expected, but we're going to dive into all of it. We're going to have the coaches' press conferences and everything else as we break down all the action here on Eagles Post Game Live. Again, if you're interested in getting your comments heard, make sure you head over to the Facebook and YouTube page. And while you're on the YouTube page, make sure you hit subscribe. You don't want to miss a minute of the action here on DSM Media. Eagles win 20-16. As I said, I'm here live in sunny Orlando, Florida. You can see the sun behind me. Got to have the sunglasses on because it's quite bright out here. Excuse me. And we're going to be waiting for Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and the rest of the team to come to the podium as we go here. Big win, much closer, like I said, than I thought it would be. I really thought Washington would roll over a little bit. I actually kind of feel like it was a little not as close as the final score really said, 20-16. We were down 16-7 at the half, and we basically shut them out in the second half, scored 13 points. Really felt like we did a little bit better than that in the second half. Jalen Hurts had an excellent game, 17-26, 214 yards, 44 rushing yards as well. Boston Scott, a solid rushing game today, 14-47. Jordan Howard, a couple good runs at the end of the game there to ice it. Another 100-yard rushing performance from this team, 118 rushing yards overall. Yes, slow starts are going to be an issue. Yeah, glad you're wrong as well, George. Crazy how the defense plays in the second half compared. I tweeted that out in the fourth quarter there. Two totally different teams, offensively and defensively, first half to second half this week and every week. Name I'm going to shout out a bunch of times on the postgame show. Jannard Avery had probably one of his best games as an Eagle. Lots of pressure, had that big sack. I know he got called for that bad penalty, which negated his interception. But for the most part, in my opinion, he had a really, really strong game. Lots of positives to take away from it. But again, we've got to talk about the slow starts and how they put us behind. And again, if we were playing the Green Bay Packers today, the Dallas Cowboys today, the Arizona Cardinals, the Rams, we start slow like that. We're not down 16-7 at halftime. We're down 21-24-0 at the halftime. So definitely need to figure out why they're starting so slow. And Singleton looked good. Yeah, I mean, he had an okay game. Had some good plays. But again, I actually saw some plays that weren't quite as good as well. There's a reason why he is not a starting caliber linebacker, in my opinion, in this league. But he could be worse. The drop off from Davion Taylor to him hasn't been that big a deal. Still, we've got to figure out how to get over this slow starting in the first half, because that second half performance from the defense specifically, the pressure, Jonathan Gannon calling blitzes, the way they played was excellent performance from the defense. They were able to shut him down. Tyler Heineke was 11-13 in the first half, but he was 15-24. I'm trying to do the math, something like that in the second half. The pressure that we were able to get to them and get to him was excellent in the second half of the game. I mean, there's lots of positives there in the second half, Adam. Absolutely. But Dallas Goedert, 6 catches, 71 yards. Devontae Smith had 3 catches out of his 6 targets. Boston Scott had some good catches out of the backfield. Greg Ward, 2 huge catches for the game. Quez Watkins had 2 catches, but he actually made 2 big mistakes there, stopping his route short of the first down multiple times. I was obviously wrong on the Jalen Reagor touchdown today. Really thought the birthday boy would pull through for us. Not the case, but it is what it is. We'll address that and the Jalen Reagor issues as we go on. Absolutely. But, again, starting slow, finishing strong. I mean, that's a really good key. But, you got to start stronger in the first half if you have any chance going forward. We're waiting for halftime here, or for the second half games here today. San Francisco loses today, and if Minnesota loses today, we're in. New Orleans wins, or if San Francisco wins or loses, New Orleans wins or loses. I forget. One of those teams got to win. One of them's got to lose. Minnesota loses tonight against Green Bay. Kirk Cousins is out, and that playoff spot's locked up. And then we could potentially, have nothing to play for next week. Rest, Jalen Hurts, rest some of the veterans, and get them ready for the playoffs. but we are on the cusp of playoff football, something that we did not think was even possible. Let's go Packers. Yes, Kyle. We are all Packers fans tonight, and let's go San Francisco. So San Francisco's got to win, or New Orleans has got to lose, and then obviously the Packers got to beat Minnesota tonight for us to lock that up. That would be great. I'd really love to not have to stress next week and worry about next week to lock that playoff spot up. It would be great. I keep checking in here on the post game on Eagles.com, waiting for the coaches and players to come up to the podium. But yeah, again, great performance in the second half. Honestly, I mean, 20-16, it feels like a close game. But I mean, I feel like we dominated that second half so much that the score is not telling of how well we played. We just weren't able to put them away. And, I know there's going to be a lot of fans that say that they were stressing over that last drive. I was one of them, stressing that we were not going to be able to stop them on that last drive. But Jonathan Gannon did what he had to do. He got them to get the pressure. Tyler Heineke, he's a backup quarterback in this football league. He is not a starting quarterback, and it showed later in the game as they wore down and the defense began to dominate. So, it is what it is. We are ready to, get some playoff experience. For as many veterans are on this team, the Lane Johnsons, the Jason Kelce's, we cannot discount the experience and the great importance of that for the young players on the team, the Jalen Hurts, the Jordan Mailatas, the, Miles Sanders, if he gets there. Now this is a good question. All right, so let's bring this up here on the screen here real quick. Now that is a good question. If we have nothing to play for, do you not think that they need to play and try to figure out the issues? I mean, I think that's a really good question, George. Maybe you play the starters for the first half. Maybe you play Jalen Hurts for the first half. And no matter what happens, you bench him in the second half. Let's piss the Giants off again by not playing our quarterback in the second half again like last year. But I don't know. I mean, Jalen Hurts, his ankle still concerns me. There was one or two moments where he looked a little ginger moving in the second half. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure which way we go with that, George. I'm sure Nick Sirianni will address that in the week. I personally, like I said, I would probably rest him. I'd probably rest Lane Johnson, Jason Kelce. You've got a very capable backup in Gardner Minshew. There's also the thread that, I mean, if we win this week and next week and certain teams lose this weekend, we could be even playing for the 5th seed. I mean, I know it's a distant thought and it doesn't really make a difference, but playoff situations and playoff seeding is still, up for grabs. They could make the 6th seed if they win next week. So maybe Nick Sirianni says this young team needs more experience and they play them. And then depending on how the game goes against the Cowboys, then they decide whether to, rest them in the second half and whatnot. We're going to have to wait and see. But it's definitely an interesting question going forward this week. Let's see here. Nope, still nobody on the press conference just yet. But back to the box score and back to this game. Again, Washington is not a good team. I mean, they were without Antonio Gibson. Their lead back, Jared Patterson, at 12 carries for 57 yards. Held them to under 100 yards rushing, which we tend to do a lot of. Wendell Smallwood, former Eagle, 4 rushes for 12 yards. Huge. Yeah. Terry McLaurin had a pretty quiet 7-catch game. You would think if Terry McLaurin had 7 catches that it would have hurt us. But again, our cornerbacks locked down. I was not thrilled with the officiating in this game. Definitely seemed to be one-sided. I believe there was only one penalty called against the Washington football team in the entire game. None on defense. They were draped all over our wide receivers. It seemed like the rest were really trying to let them play. But yet when on the Eagles side of the game, especially in the second half, there were a lot of ticky-tack penalties being called. So it's definitely something that's concerning. Let's see who's at the podium right now for the Eagles. Let's see here. What do we got here? I can't see out here right now. It's really tough. I can't even see who's on the screen. I just know there's somebody talking right now. It doesn't look like it's Hurts. It is not Nick Sirianni. So we're gonna hold off there for a second. I'm not thrilled with the reffing and how that went today. Let's bring up these team stats here on my screen here. We controlled time of possession today, 32 minutes to 27 minutes. Penalties, they had 1 penalty for 4 yards. We had 6 called against us. But that late penalty against Avonte Maddox, it was a bad call. Great to see him rebound and make 2 really big stops on defense after that. Jalen Hurts was only sacked 1 time. They did get some pressure on Jalen Hurts. Jordan Mailata didn't have his greatest game of the season. And Lane Johnson had a couple offside or false start penalties called against him. He did not have his best performance of the season as well. But for the most part, it was really one-sided penalty-wise today, and I really blame the refs for that. There was only 1 turnover. Washington had 1 turnover. It was an interception thrown. But outside of that, the game was a pretty clean game from the Eagles. It's just a slow start tonight. mean, you can only put the inexperienced excuse on the slow starts so much and for so long. We are now 16 games into the season for Nick Sirianni. We're already, what's that now? That puts 20 games under Jalen Hurts' belt. 19, 20 games. He did miss a game. So I think that's 19 games under his belt as a starter. You can only use the inexperienced excuse for so long. So you definitely got to be concerned with the slow starts and whether it's going to be an issue, come playoff time, obviously, but also going forward next year. We really got to pinpoint why these slow starts are happening and what the team needs to do in the offseason to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And again, I know George talked about Jonathan Gannon, with me on Twitter today during the game. Jonathan Gannon, again, a really bad start to his defense. He does not have his team coming out and prepared, but he made the adjustments at the halftime, and they were able to stop a lesser team here and get some pressure and do that. So Jonathan Gannon, I'll give him credit. He was able to rebound and put together a good second half plan. But again, the start on defense, it's not good when you're down 10-0 right away every single game. Yeah, we're really bad for you down there not being able to see because of all that sun. Yeah, okay, you're making jokes now, George. Ha ha ha. Hold on, let me see here. I think a cloud just rolled in front of the sun there, so I can pull my sunglasses off and not be a total loser, with my sunglasses on there. There were no drops today. It's those scripted plays. It's 100% on the coaches, these slow starts. That's very possible. If they are fully scripting the first quarter and that is the problem, then, yeah, absolutely, that's on the coaches, no doubt about it. I'm not sure if I've read much about how many games or how many plays they pre-script out on offense, whether it's 15 plays, 20 plays, the whole first quarter, whatever it is. But maybe that is the issue, and I'm going to have to do some more deep diving in and deep research on that to see what they are scripting out on a regular basis. But, yeah, if that's the case, then that's Nick Sirianni that has to learn to adjust quicker in the first quarter when his scripted plays are not working. So, yeah, there's that. Who's at the podium now? That might be Devontae Smith. Let's see if we can tune into this press conference. Let's see if it works. Let's see what we got going on here.
When everybody else, wrote us off when we were 2-5, we continued to believe in ourselves. We trusted the process. We continued to prepare the same way, have that same level of focus, and we got better. And we're seeing the results of that now. So it feels good. You got to give credit to everybody on this team and in this organizations, from the front office to the coaches to starters to practice squad, man. Everybody.
As that stat says down there, Josh Sweat had a great game today as well. The last 2 weeks have been Scott's.
Go ahead, John.
Yep.
Hey, Rod, you mentioned the injury. You're over a year off now. So how much physically, how close do you think you are? You said you're trying to get back to your standard of last year. How close do you think you are?
I can't put a number on it, man. I just go back to work each and every week and try to get better. And I've seen growth in myself throughout the course of this year, from week to week. And I'm just seeing the fruition of it. So just look forward to another week and getting the leg stronger and get ready for Dallas.
Thanks, Rodney.
All right, that was Rodney McLeod talking right there on the post-game press conference
today for the.
So let's mute that out there. Get that off the screen for now. Yeah, I mean, Rodney McLeod, I was writing him off. He's played well the last couple weeks as well. I was just talking about during that presser about Josh Sweat having a really good back-to-back games after signing that decent contract extension. But Rodney McLeod has definitely done a little turn of a quarter now, a full year from his injury and recovering from his injury. So, it's really good to see. I believe they said Lane Johnson will be next up to the podium here. So as soon up, he's already up to the podium here. That did not take long. So let's bring Lane Johnson onto the screen here, see what he has to say about the offensive line performance today.
Decision I'm sorry.
You're breaking up.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can
Can you hear me now? Okay. Great. Yeah.
We'll go to Mike and then we'll go back to Zach. Go ahead, Mike.
Fourth downs at the goal line. What did you think of Nick?
Go ahead, Mike.
The fourth down play where we had to have it. Well, we didn't convert the first, I think, series. So just having the confidence to
definitely have to address all the fourth down going for it from Nick Sirianni.
I thought we did a good job of executing that play.
We'll go to Mike and then Chris Franklin.
Lane, what was your sideline perspective on Rodney's interception, and what was your reaction when you saw it?
He won us the game. It wasn't looking too good for us, you know. We were kind of the whole offensive line was on the opposite side of the field. Jalen was, and I saw where he sailed it. And first thought, I thought it may hit the ground. Then when I saw the replay, he caught it, and that's a testament to Rodney, man. He, overcoming injuries and
excellent catch by Rodney.
a lot of adversity he's had to face, and he's one of the few guys that's come through and been able to still play at a very high level and be the leader he is. So hats off to him today, man. He won us this game.
Go ahead, Chris, and then Al Thompson.
Hey, Lane, with a couple things happening today, you guys will be clinching a playoff spot. Where does this current team rank? Like you've been through playoff runs beforehand. Where does this team rank among them, and what does this current run mean to you personally?
I don't even know anything about that. I just know if we get invited to the dance, it's time to dance. So, we need some stuff to play out maybe the next tonight and tomorrow. But other than that, I mean, we can control only what we can control. And it was an ugly game today. I think we had a sloppy first half. And,
Absolutely.
End up finding a way to win there in the second half.
Go ahead, Al, and then Tim McManus.
It looked like
Man, I don't know if it's them or me, but man, there's a lot of feedback and a lot of whatever there. But yeah, there's a couple things that he brought up there. At least he's addressing the fact that the slow starts are happening and ugly first halves are happening. Lane Johnson didn't have a very good game today. I mean, by his standards, a couple of false starts, a couple blown blocking assignments. But again, it's a testament to this team on how they're able to fight through all these slow starts and fight through all these issues and be able to be resilient enough to come away with a win. And it's really important. It's a young team mixed with a lot of veterans, so it's a really, really good sight. Really good thing to see. Absolutely. Again, Rodney McLeod. Anthony Harris had a couple plays. I've been harsh on Anthony Harris. Had a couple big hits today. That is good to see. He hasn't been great. He hasn't been bad. Darius Slay, obviously, he didn't have any big play, pick six or anything like that. Shut down corner, as always. He was again today. But yeah, the defense did what they needed to do in the second half. Nitty gritty, win, whatever. Just get me to the playoffs. Absolutely, Scotty. Absolutely. All we got to do is get to the dance. You never know what's going to happen. There's plenty of teams in the NFL. The Rams, I haven't even checked the scores, the final scores. The Rams pulled out a last-second win against the Ravens 2019, but they don't look spectacular. The Cardinals, they've been struggling a lot. The Cowboys, they are the Cowboys. They are what they are. So there's, you get to the dance. You get that experience, and who knows? With our running attack, if the defense could just play half decent in the first half of a football game, we're right there. Burrow limped off today. I did not see that either today. He was closing in on another 500-yard performance today. Going around the NFL, the Bills beat the Falcons 29-15. Bears smoked the Giants, not surprisingly. The Bengals won 34-31 today. Yet Burrow had 446 yards passing after his 525 last week. Almost 1,000 yards passing in 2 weeks. Titans smoked and shut down the Dolphins run. That'll help our draft pick position for that pick. That's good. Colts lost to the Raiders. That'll help our pick. Again, another key thing there. Buccaneers squeaked out. Even there's another team. The Buccaneers 28-24 to the Jets. The Jets are not a good football team, and they just squeaked out that win. The Patriots smoked the Jaguars. No surprise there. But you get to the dance. That's all you got to do. You get that playoff experience, and who knows what happens? Who knows? That's all that matters. Yeah, what's up with what AB pulled? I honestly, I tried to find it. I saw the video of him throwing his jersey. I saw the video of him storming off the field. But if anybody wants to chime in the comment section, what led to that? What happened before that play? I'd be really curious. No, I haven't talked about it yet because I don't know what happened before him storming off the field. He had 5. I looked. He had 5 targets, 3 catches at that point. So it wasn't like he wasn't part of the game plan. I don't know. I have no idea. Sorry, got carried away. Yeah, absolutely. Super Bowl run. Yeah, absolutely. I missed the Super Bowl run comment. I was wondering what he was talking about there. Yeah, we're not running to the Super Bowl this year. But once you get to the playoffs, you never know what can happen. The experience itself is all that is necessary for Jalen Hurts, for Jordan Mailata, for these young defensive players. That's all you want. You want Nick Sirianni, the experience of him getting to call plays in the playoffs it's a massive, important thing. So I'm really excited about that as well. But yeah, I mean, a lot of interesting scores around the NFL today. So I'll be really curious to see what the reasoning behind the whole Antonio Brown thing, Scotty, is. What caused him to go off? There's no way you could bring him back on that team if he stormed off and quote unquote quit on his team. I think somebody in Ohio State did that yesterday, or some college bowl game. Someone quit at halftime. You can't bring him back. If we beat the backups against Dallas next week, it's Super Bowl time. Absolutely. Yeah. I think there's a scenario if Minnesota beats the Packers today or tonight, and the Dallas wins today against the Cardinals this afternoon. I think Dallas still has a chance at the number 1 seed. They were talking about it on the pregame show. I'm not sure the exact scenario, but I think there is a scenario where they have that. So if that's the case, then they will not be resting their starters next week because that home field advantage. Oh man, that would be so frustrating to watch the playoffs go through Dallas and Jerry's world there. Do not want to see that at all. It says Brown got benched. So I'm wondering why he got benched though. Did he drop an important pass? Did he miss an assignment? Because when he came out of the game, I remember looking, Gronk had 9 targets, Mike Evans had 7 targets, and he had 5 targets. So he's still a part of the offense at that point. So I'm not sure, what he got benched for. So we'll have to see. And Adam, if you could find more information on that, let me know in the comment section because I'd love to know more about that. Because there's no way you could bring Antonio Brown back to that team now, at least this year in this playoffs. And I think he was I forget the exact numbers. He was like 7 to 10 catches and like 200 yards away from getting his next set of bonuses. And maybe that was what it was. Maybe he wasn't getting enough targets. He was complaining. He knows that he had $200,000 bonus on the line for catches and $200,000 bonus for yardage. And maybe he wasn't getting enough touches. And maybe that had something to do with it. I'm not sure. Maybe that actually kind of popped into my head there. Maybe that's what that had to do. Look, we just need the experience for the Eagles. We got to stay focused on the Eagles here. Not worry about what's going on. Arians just announced that he's done as a Buck AB. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, you can't storm off the field like that and expect to be welcomed back. He shouldn't even be in the locker room right now in the postgame. They should have had him pack up his gear in the middle while the game was still going on and get him out of there. You just can't act like that. And Antonio Brown has been, I mean, he's been known, obviously the situation in Pittsburgh and after Pittsburgh and all, well, he's free again now. Let's just say Antonio Brown is free. He should be running and jumping into the pool right behind me, just like that, just like he did when he was free the last time. It's just frustrating because the guy's uber talented. And I won't lie, I wanted the Eagles to sign him last year. And last year, Tampa Bay doesn't win that Super Bowl without that Antonio Brown signing. But, that's just the way it goes. Crazy people just stay crazy forever. That's about that. Lane Johnson's off the podium now. That was a really long Lane Johnson press conference there, or post-game press conference there from him. Just waiting to see. Chargers are now up 7-0 over the Broncos. But yeah, anyway, back to it. The experience for Jalen Hurts and Mailata and the young players on this team is huge for the playoffs. But I think as important, if not more important, is the experience that Nick Sirianni as a head coach, Jonathan Gannon as a defensive coordinator can get in the playoffs is just as important, if not more important, than what Jalen Hurts. And let's talk Jalen Hurts for a second. I want to say the final numbers weren't like jumping off the page for Jalen Hurts today, but Jalen Hurts to me today had probably one of his best games confidence-wise. When he was in the pocket, when he was throwing balls, a couple were underthrown. Sure, there was an underthrown ball to Quez Watkins on a I don't know if it was a wheel route, whatever it was. It was down the sideline. There was an underthrown ball to overthrown ball to Devontae Smith. Outside of those two plays, he threw the ball with confidence today. He took off with confidence today. His ankle, one or two times, he seemed limping late in the game, but early in the game, he looked confident. And that I know he had no touchdowns today, no interceptions, no rushing touchdowns. But yet I feel like today, the eye test wise, was one of the best I have seen in a while. We got Dallas Goedert on the podium.
Yeah,
we'll take one or two questions from him here, see what he has to say.
The coaches have in us. Anytime we're going to go for it, we feel like we have a really good play against the defense that we're anticipating them playing. It's a good feeling when the coaches have faith in the entire offense that they're willing to go for it on fourth down. And we take pride in that. We want to get it on fourth downs. I don't know if we were perfect today. I know we missed the first one, but came back and got one in the end zone. And anytime we can get points, it's huge.
Go ahead, Jeff, and then Dave.
Dallas, what was your blocking
Great point,
responsibility
George.
on the first Boston Scott touchdown?
Dallas Goedert had a
And,
great
we'll
game
kind of work
blocking
that way
today,
and get
no
in there.
doubt.
Shoot, what was the first one where he went out to the right? Sweep? I don't remember what the first touchdown was.
No, second one, the first one was like up the middle. Second one was outside zone to the right.
Middle.
Definitely a great game block.
The O-line had a great push. I think he followed Kelsey right in, but I started to the left and went back to the right to block the right defensive end. Like I said, the O-line got a great push. I saw Boston laying on top of Kelsey in the end zone, so I'm assuming Kelsey did his job and mauled someone like he usually does.
The change in Dallas Goedert since Zach Ertz has been gone has been great.
Dallas, what makes Boston so good at the goal line?
I feel like there's probably a lot of different things. He's compact. He hits the hole hard. He can move laterally. He sees the hole. And then, anytime you got a big O-line like ours, and then Boston is back there, it's hard for the defense to see what hole he's hitting. But no, he's just a good all-around back. And, he had a big game today. He came through for us twice in the red zone and had a couple other big runs. So, just anytime he gets the ball in his hands, he's a dangerous runner.
And George, I'm going to come back to your comment about Hurts on the ball as soon as we're done here. Got to keep quick comment about that.
Pattern of starting off a little bit slow and then just completely running over another team in the second half. What is Nick Sirianni telling you guys consistently at halftime to get you to kind of rev up the way you have?
We haven't been starting the way we want to. The first possession we had offensively, we moved the ball, then went for it on fourth down and didn't get it. But that's the thing. We need to start faster in the first half. But coming out of halftime, I don't think there's a team that wants it as bad as we do. And, we're going out there and we always say it's not about who's tougher, it's about who's tougher longer. We're a gritty team. We're going to run the ball and, we're going to wear a team out by the end of the game. And we just got to stick to it. The defense played an incredible second half. And, we got enough points on the board to get the W. But like I said, we just got to start faster and play a whole game like we played the second half.
Go ahead, Zach, and then Josh.
Hey, Dallas, how will you spend these next few hours? Are you going to be watching the other games, see if you guys punch tonight?
Yeah, anytime you're in a position like this, we did our job this week. Definitely going to be watching the games, being a fan of the teams that we need to win. But ultimately, we took care of what we can take care of. And, whatever happens the rest of the day and tomorrow, we'll be looking to go back on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can only take care of what's in front of you. That's what the Eagles did. Took care of their business. What happens with Minnesota, San Francisco, New Orleans, whatever happens, happens. You can't control that. And the Eagles took care of business themselves today, and that's all that matters. If they take care of business next week, the other games don't even matter at this point. Scotty's talking about here that Goddard is on pace to be better than any of Zach Ertz's first 4 seasons. Absolutely. I mean, the difference in his game now that Zach Ertz is gone, the fact that he's the focal point is great. Adam checking in saying it's basically what I thought. He was unhappy with his usage probably because he's got so many incentives on the line. He's got close to $500,000 in incentives on the line here. That's probably what it was, and that seems like to be what it was. But I want to get to George's comment here. Biggest positive for me with Hurts is that he takes care of the ball. He really does. He doesn't turn the ball. He had that one game earlier this year where he threw a whole bunch of picks. But outside of that, he does a really good job. There was a play early in the game. It was his only time he took a sack this game. He was pressured up the middle, looked like he was about to throw the ball, and how he was able to hold on to that pass and not fumble that just shows how focused he is on keeping that ball in his hands. Jalen Hurts does not turn the ball over the way the former guy did. So that's really great. And obviously he didn't play really well today either, the former guy. So a couple good wins or losses by teams that we own the draft picks from this year, some first-round picks from. It's really great to see another great Carson Wentz game, 16-27, a mere 148 yards today. Yeah. So that being said, him protecting the ball come playoff time, if he can continue to do that well, is huge because we got Nick Sirianni at the podium already here. So we are going to unmute this.
And then Jeff McLean.
We're going to get him. We got to hear what Nick Sirianni has to say here.
Guys were a lot more aggressive on fourth down today.
I forgot to
went
mention
behind those decisions, especially against that one with the 1 yard touchdown run to Boston Scott.
Again, sometimes every game's going to be played a little bit different, and depending on who you're playing. I mean, right there in that game, I thought Henneke started off hot, and I know I'm going to get some questions about how the defense started. Did you see some of the throws Henneke was making early in that game, getting away from the pressure?
He was making those throws because you weren't getting pressure.
The guy was playing good, so I felt like in those scenarios we had to be aggressive. I'm always going to listen to the chart. I'm always going to look at the chart, see what it says, and I'm going to make a decision based off of what I think is necessary with that game. And that's why we did what we did today. With some of those fourth downs down in the red zone, and great job to our offensive line to be able to run it in, and our backs and our quarterback and the tight ends and the receivers, everybody involved to make the plays to make my decision right. And that's that's awesome team football.
We were debating that whether they were the right calls.
I think you took care of your end here by winning today, and there's a chance, obviously, that you guys can clinch later today. But you are guaranteed a winning record. 2-5. I know you don't look past 1 week, but can you reflect upon what that means to go from that to this?
Again, we're taking each week by week, and it's if you look at when you're 2-5, if you look at how you're going to get 4 wins in a row or whatever it is, right, or how you're going to get back to 9-7, right? That looks really tall. But when you focus on one day, one meeting, one walkthrough, one practice at a time, it becomes way more manageable. And that's all we tried to do. And so I'm obviously pleased with the situation that we're in right now, controlling our own destiny. I'm really pleased with the way we responded in today's game, and just thankful to this team of who the guys that we have on this team that fought through hard times. What you saw today, what I felt on the sideline today was this calmness. There was a calmness throughout the entire game. And we've had more double-digit wins than I think we've only had one game that was not a double-digit win. Correct me if I'm wrong, against Carolina. But that whole game, there was just this. I say it again. There was just this calmness from our leaders on the team that reflected to everybody else. Fletch, Rodney McLeod, Jason Kelsey, Jalen Hurts. Jalen was so calm throughout the entire game. And that's what you do when you take things little by little. And when you're down 2 scores at the end of the first half, you're not going to get it all at one, with one drive, right? You're going to go down there and you're going to make it a tighter game with the drive, but you can't get all your points back, just like you can't get all your wins back when you start low. So it's just us recovering from the 2-5 to where we are now is a it kind of prepared us, it prepares you for games like this where you're in a hole and you got to chip away at it. And that's what our guys did today.
Go ahead, John, and then Dave.
Hi, Nick. Kind of furthering on that comment.
I mentioned that today earlier.
Do you think that is a direct reflection of the quarterback? Because that's kind of his, that's how he looks like us. Even keeled, never up, never down.
Yeah. And I think that's definitely a reflection on how the quarterback is and how he was all day today and how he is in general and the leaders on our team. Like I said, all the guys in there, Alex Singleton and Fletcher Cox and Rodney McLeod and Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson, right? And those guys are calm. They're calm. They've been in these situations before, and so what a great resource to have those guys, and not only to make the plays that they make throughout the entire game, but to have that veteran leadership that we have. And like you said, it starts with Jalen and as one of our captains, and we got Darius Slay, who's not a captain but who shows that confidence and calmness throughout an entire game, and TJ Edwards. I mean, we just got some great guys on this team that know what it is to put their head down and work, whether things are going good or things are going bad.
Go ahead, Dave, and then Zach.
We'll listen to these last 2 questions, then we'll move on here.
What was your view of the Rodney McLeod interception, and did you think he caught it immediately?
I'm sorry, Dave. You broke off for a second.
That's all right. Rodney McLeod interception. What was your view on that play, and did you think he caught that immediately?
I didn't get a great look of it, and they weren't showing it up on the scoreboard. shoot, in that scenario, when Rodney coming off and standing on the bench and hyping up the crowd, that told me everything I needed to know. And I just wanted to give him a hug and tell him thanks for the whole entire team. That was just an unbelievable play. Great coverage by, I think it was Anthony on the play, Anthony Harris on the play, to be right there in the guy's hip and to sail and to have Henneke sail that just a little bit where Rodney can make the play. So great play. I didn't, again, like I said, I didn't see it. I'm getting word from above, from the guys upstairs, telling me that they think his hands are under it. So, and then the referees do a good job of communicating that with me as well.
Go ahead, Zach, and then Martin.
Decide you were to go for those fourth downs on first and goal, or was it a split moment decision?
No, well, you're always thinking, Zach. I got parts of that question, so I'm going to answer the parts I got. I think I got your whole question, but because you broke off a little bit. But you always when you get into that,
we're going to come back to this
four down territory potential. When there's potential to go for it on fourth down, you're talking on first down, right? You never. And anything you do in this game, you don't want it to be split decision. Really,
yeah, we're going to mute him there.
I mean, we don't
look. I mean, I'm going to bash it for a second here. The Washington football team, the FedEx Field or whatever they call it anymore. I mean, it's a dump, and the Wi-Fi is obviously not working really well because 90% of the questions coming in from those reporters, you could barely hear the questions. It was with every single interview at this point. But yeah, lots of things to talk about there and digest from him. But I want to address what George said here. Yeah, must admit I'm lukewarm on Rodney. Always have been, solid player. I think a part of it is he was the replacement for Malcolm Jenkins, who was also the replacement for Brian Dawkins. So we went Dawkins, Jenkins, McLeod there. But he had a really good game today, and I think now full year from his injury, he's starting to slowly get back to his full health and full abilities right now. Look, this Eagles team, I mean, there's lots to digest there, and we're going to get into it all week long on DSM Media, on Trending in the AM, tomorrow, Overreaction Monday, things like that. But, we really just got to say, I mean, it's a good win. And the leaders on this team are carrying this team and keeping them up, not letting them get down when they fall behind. Yes, obviously, getting behind early is not good. It's not ideal. It's not something we want to have happen long term, but it's something that they've been able to weather at this point. Scotty said Rodney deserves a little bit more respect, and that's what I'm giving him. I'm giving him more respect at this point because he's, I've been down on him. I've never been really huge fan of his, but this year he really has let me down. But today was a game where he was able to step up big time, and I like that. Was about to say it probably has to do with being in Jenkins' shadow. Hard act to follow, just like Jenkins had to be in Dawkins' shadow, and we did not love Malcolm Jenkins, the second one when he stepped on the field, because he was living in Brian Dawkins' shadow. Anybody that follows Brian Dawkins, anybody that follows Malcolm Jenkins, they're living in shadows. So yeah, absolutely an issue there. And it makes you love the former players even more because once they're gone. I mean, obviously it was the right time because you can see Malcolm Jenkins isn't having amazing seasons the last couple of years in New Orleans either. Some more updates here. These early games here, or these afternoon games, Chargers still only up 7-0. 49ers, Texans, Cowboys, Cardinals, Panthers, Saints, all those games are, and the Lions, Seahawks are all in 0-0 points right now, still in the first quarter in all of them. Some of them getting closer to the end of the first quarter. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's hard to follow. I mean, I don't think anybody can follow Brian Dawkins. It's like when Reggie White left, we had some really great defensive ends. I know, Scotty, you weren't born at that point. You're a little baby, but George remembers. When Reggie White left, we had some really good guys come in here, but it wasn't, you can never follow up, following in Reggie White's. Okay, so there was a little bit of gap. All right, possibility, absolutely, yeah. Timpson, yeah, the Nate Allen. God damn, how can I forget the Nate Allen greatness and all? He went on to Carolina, and another one that left here, went somewhere else and had some minor success, kind of like the Rasul Douglas stuff. Arguably the best player in franchise history. I mean, Brian Dawkins, number one player over Reggie White, probably because he stayed here for so long. Yeah, probably. I mean, Reggie White's one of the greatest players of all time. So that's debatable, but yeah, I can get behind that, Scotty. Absolutely. So what do we do now? That's the question. As we get ready, today is not about overreaction. Tomorrow I'll be doing my overreactions. My Super Bowl predictions of the Eagles will be tomorrow when we do Overreaction Monday. Tomorrow I got Jason Voorhees and Mark Muscatelli coming on for Overreaction Monday. But today is the more realistic things. Where do we go from here? Do we rest our starters next week if it's necessary, if it's possible, if the game doesn't really mean anything? How do we solve these slow starts? There's so many things. I know that there's a gap just as far as following the shadow. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that, Scotty. Yes, Dawkins was the greatest. Okay, yeah, I mean, I think I can get that. Yes, Super Bowl run. That'll be overreactions tomorrow. I'm guessing my overreaction Monday statement number 1, which everyone overreacts to my overreactions because they don't read the fact that it says overreaction statement. I will say I probably will say that we're going on a Super Bowl run. Why not? Who the hell? Yeah, it's going to be all in good fun tomorrow. The second to last day here in sunny Orlando, Florida. Absolutely. Let's go. That's right. Cheers to that, guys. Let's go. Anyway, but the realistic comments and the realistic statements are, what do we do now? How do we improve this team? Do we even want to have a chance in the playoffs? Which I know it's not about winning in the playoffs. This season was a retool season. This season was a rebuild season, an adjustment season. But once you make the playoffs, anything can happen. So what can this team do to make a run in the playoffs? Because like I said, you look at some of these teams, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, it's not like anybody outside the Packers have really set themselves apart in the NFC. So what can they do? What should they do? They just have to continue to stay confident. Nick Sirianni addressed it, that this team never gets down. Lane Johnson talked about it. This team stays even-keeled. The leaders lead this team. They don't let it start. If we get off to slightly better starts in games, that's all we got to do. Not fall behind 10, 14, nothing right away. I will settle for that too. Absolutely, George, not being humiliated. But you're going to be humiliated if you start slow like you did. I think, let's see. We got slow start this week, slow start last week, slow start against the Washington the first time, the Jets. I think it's been like 6-7 weeks in a row, at least, that we were starting slow in games. So, Super Bowl and NBA championship in Philly the same year. Yeah. I don't know. I think the Eagles got a better chance than the Sixers, Scotty. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe? I don't know. We'll talk about that on Overreaction Monday. Absolutely. All we got to do, we got to figure out these slow starts, because if you fall behind against these big teams, these better teams, it's disaster written all over it. But, even if they don't start slow, realistically, do they have a shot? I don't know. 3 different forms of slow start as well. Absolutely. Some were stupid penalties against Washington on that Tuesday night game. A Dallas Goedert, ball bouncing off his, toenail, to an interception. That was a slow start there. The Jets, they gave up a really bad kick return to start the game, got them behind early. Let's see. Hold on. Is that Jalen? Nope, that's not. Okay. I mean, if before I wrap this up, if Jalen Hurts comes, I'll put him on for a minute. Otherwise, we're going to wrap up the press conferences with Nick Sirianni there. They just got to do a better job of starting these games off a little bit better. That's all they got to do. What do we got now? That's a conversation, Phil. Eagles or Sixers? Yeah. I mean, that's an overreaction Monday statement and conversation, if there was ever one. Who's got a better chance in 2022 to win a title? Man, I already get bashed for my overreaction statements because nobody reads that says overreaction statement on it. But that one, that'll be icing on the cake. Hell, I'll throw the Flyers and the Phillies into that conversation as well. Why not? And see what happens. Man, people will tear me apart on social media, but that's okay because that's what I do. Look, this is a point in the season. I predicted us to be 9-8. I had a 2-5 start, and then I had us finishing 9-8 because I did not think the Cowboys would have the record that they have at this point. So I figured week 18. Man, I got that right. I didn't see week 17. I'm very proud of myself there. I really did not think the Cowboys would be at the point where they could rest their starters in week 18, where we could finish 10-7. So they're right where I thought they would be. This Eagles team, for all the grief Howie has been given the last few years, there's a lot of young talent on this team. Absolutely 110% agree with you. The last 4 years of drafts have not been as bad as people think they are at all. And I'm a Howie hater, but Howie, deserves some credit, not just on the young talent, but some of the trades. I mean, getting Miami's first-round pick, was a genius move. Getting a first-round pick from the Colts, because George, like I said, it was always a first-round pick. We knew it was going to be a first round pick. You doubted it, or you didn't doubt it. You wanted to be cautiously, optimistic on it. But the trades that Howie Roseman has made for draft picks, so to set us up, yeah, he has a lot of resources. A lot of resources. This offseason is going to be very, very crucial. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, this team is exactly where I expected them to be at this point. And going forward, I mean, whatever happens the rest of the season, next week and in the playoffs, this is all icing on the cake at this point because of the resources, because of, these young guys that Howie's drafted, Williams, Milton Williams looking great, all this stuff that we talk about with Howie Roseman. This offseason is so huge. We're already further ahead than we needed to be and expected to be at this point, where most people expect them to be at this point. So that, oh, come on. You told me to relax till it became official. No, every time I said that Carson we had 3 first round picks. You said, no, it's not a first till we got it. I'm almost positive it was you, George, that called me out on that like 300 times. But anyway, beside the point, we're already further ahead than we expected to be at this point. So everything else is icing on the cake. Everything else is gravy at this point. We just need to use the rest of this season, the playoffs, to learn, to grow, to continue to mature the young players and the young coaching staff that we have. And if that is the case and we can learn and grow, then we are set to go in the future. Like I said in the offseason, that this was a retool in the NFL, not for long. You could turn a team around a lot quicker in the NFL than a lot of other leagues. So that being said, since they were able to kind of bump up the process a little bit, not to use a Sixers term with the process, bump the process up a little bit, they're capable of then next year, we'll be in a great position, to have a really, really competitive team next year. And this playoff experience, this playoff run is going to be so crucial in that 110%. It doesn't look like anybody else is coming to the podium anytime soon. So we're going to wrap this Eagles Aftermath, this Eagles post-game show up right now here on DSM Media Live, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you click that subscribe button on YouTube. Is there anything Hurts can do to make the Eagles look away from Russell Wilson? I think he already has. I mean, Russell Wilson, Scotty, that I'm a Russell Wilson guy, and I want Russell Wilson in an Eagles uniform. But that's an unrealistic pipe dream. That's a Vince Quinn and me, goofing around kind of thing. Jalen Hurts is fully earned, not just because of by default. He has fully earned the right. Wait, I got more questions. Yeah, I'm getting there. Pump those questions in. I'll answer them all right now. Yeah, stop with the Wilson. And that's what I'm doing. The Wilson talk, George, the Wilson talk is overreaction Monday type comments. It's not realistic. And but to counter, you say, George always says that, Hurts is the quarterback next year by default. Corral, the one quarterback that's got hurt in the bowl game, he's going to fall. There's no way you're drafting a quarterback. There's no way you're getting any of these guys. Have you watched him this season? Very little, but that team, that offensive line is awful. Their running game is awful. The Seahawks are just awful. I actually have a theory in my mind on Russell Wilson that he doesn't leave Seattle, that they fire Pete Carroll and keep Russell Wilson. But that's a theory and a story for another day. It was me. Yeah, they were talking about the whole, practice. Yeah, exactly. I got you on that. Back to Sky's question. Like I said, I think he's done enough, not just by default. I think he's earned the right by his play, that he's progressed enough. I mean, again, today, go back and watch today's film, everybody watching this show. Jalen Hurts looked really, really, really good today. He looked confident. He moved well. He threw balls decisively. Yes, he had 2 underthrown balls that I counted. But outside of that, every other ball was thrown with confidence today. And that takes away the fact that the conversation that he doesn't have arm strength. When you're confident and you're stepping into throws and you're playing with confidence like that, then all of a sudden the arm throw is great. Maybe he falls and we draft him in the 2nd or 3rd or 4th round, and you could sit him on the bench and trade him, or then trade Hurts eventually. Maybe that's a possibility there. Which is another possibility that they trade Gardner Minshew because he's got so much value. I don't know. That's all off-season talk. I want to focus on now, but I do want to continue. Jalen Hurts has earned the right from his play, from his progression on the field, to be the starting quarterback in 2022. There is literally no doubt in my mind in that. We'll take another year of Hurts over 2 years of Wilson or Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, it's a different story. I think if you can get Aaron Rodgers in here for 4 years, and hope he plays 2 or 3 years, man, you'd have a real hard time telling me that that's a bad decision because Aaron Rodgers is one of the 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time in my mind, probably. So yeah, you can't do that. Russell Wilson, right? Yeah, man, you guys are really getting me on these Wilson and Rodgers conversations because they're both such great quarterbacks. Sorry, I got to put my sunglasses back down. Sun came back out from behind the clouds there, and I can't see again. But yeah, I got to wrap this show up here. I got to wrap up post game live here. The sun is out. I've only got another hour of sun here. It's a bad decision. Yeah, it possibly is a bad decision. Scotty, you got any more questions? Get them in because I'm about to wrap this up. If you don't got any more questions or comments, people, again, the Eagles win 20-16. Felt like they won by more because they played so dominantly in the second half of this game, in my opinion. Great things. I mean, we are basically go Green Bay. Eagles control their destiny. Good night, fellas. I mean, that's a perfect way to wrap this show up. But we got another comment. You are building a young team. You want a young quarterback. I agree with that. Absolutely. I agree. And again, like I said, Jalen Hurts has earned that right, 110% in my mind, to be that quarterback next year, to have that confidence going into the offseason that he is the man in Philadelphia and with the Eagles. Phil, you are a part-timer. Stick around. Come on. I'm no part-timer. Dude, I'm on this thing here 6 days a week. I do 7-8 shows. I am no part-timer. I'm the fullest full-timer there is in podcasting in Philadelphia sports right now. Y'all better be following me at Beard of Knowledge because I am the guy that's going at this nonstop. I work 80 hours a week. I take 9 vacations a year, but I never miss a podcast ever. Yeah, so there's that. Anyway, everybody have a great day. This is DSM Media. Make sure you click follow, subscribe, retweet, share, all those great things. Make sure you do it because so much coming. Keep it rolling. I'm never going to stop rolling it, George. Nothing gets me down, no matter how many problems I got everywhere else going on. This is what I do for fun, but I also do it because I have super strong passion. And guys like you, George, you keep me going, man. And you keep me on my toes and you keep me honest with it. So I love it and I appreciate everybody's support. This is Eagles Aftermath on DSM Media. I'll be live, like I said, tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. with Trending in the AM with Jason Voorhees and Mark Muscatelli. We're going to go over this game again. A little different opinions. We're going to go overreaction. I'm going to overreact about the Eagles Super Bowl run. And yeah, all shows on DSM Media brought to you by Manscaped, the leader in men's grooming products. Check them out, manscaped.com. Promo code Trending, Aftermath, DFS. I've got 3 different promo codes with Manscaped right now. Use any of them. Get you 20% off and let them know that I sent you. And don't forget, Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, myself and Jason Sullivan, we're back with Season 2 of Fairway to Heaven. Everybody have a great day, a great rest of your Sunday. Let's celebrate it. The sun is out. The guns are about to be out. Cheers to another Eagles victory and controlling your own destiny. Super Bowl run, baby. Go Birds. And you all have a great Sunday.